Happy Spiritual Sunday from the Boca Kabbalah Center. Hard to believe we're almost halfway through the year, right? Okay. So as I was sharing with our friends here, some of you have heard it before, but I just want to start off with this idea. I kind of asked, anyone have a miracle to share? And, the Rav used to, had a great sense of humor. But what we were saying is, if you woke up in the morning, you've got to realize that's already a miracle, because there's a lot of people who don't wake up in the morning, right? And sometimes the simplest things are the greatest miracles. The Rav, how many of you drove here? Not you online, okay? It's nice to see you online, but I would gather you didn't drive. So everybody drove here, yes? Now, up until this moment, did you see or appreciate as a miracle that you got here without an accident? You got here without an incident? No, because we take it so for granted. Yet until, and heaven forbid, somebody's in an accident, then they stop taking it for granted. So the Kabbalists teach us, like you wake up in the morning, don't take for granted just the fact you woke up. Okay, yes, we all have challenges to face and things like that. But at least start, if you start your day, okay. Over all the years, I always kind of make a little fun, they say, oh, Joe Smith, you get to work and somebody's in a bad mood. And you look at your friend Joe Smith and you say, oh, you're in a bad mood, got up on the wrong side of the bed. And so for years and years since I'm in Kabbalah, because consciousness is everything, I've been trying to figure out which side of the bed is the wrong side of the bed to get out of. I mean, I've tried both, I'm not sure which makes a difference. So we understand, what does it really mean? A person woke up, let's say in simple terms, looking at the half-empty side of the day. They woke up and they know they got to face challenges, they got to face this, whatever, they're dealing with some issue. And even from that point of view, if you woke up and the first thing you did was just really an excitement and appreciation, just for opening your eyes and having the opportunity, because we learn here how to face your challenge, because once you learn Kabbalah 1, if you'll apply it, you know how to turn all chaos into harmony and order and blessing. You learn how to turn whatever looks like darkness into light. So the fact that you woke up gives you an opportunity to hunt down, to embrace wherever your challenges are, wherever the darkness is, wherever the disorder is, and turn it back into order. If you're not excited, then even though you're going to make an effort to put chaos back into order, you're kind of miserable or more miserable along the way. So at least if you wake up and you've already cheered yourself, thank you, I woke up today, and now I can have more blessings, because whatever comes my way, thank goodness for Kabbalah 1. In the Kabbalah Center, I learned how to turn darkness to light, chaos to order, curses to blessings, all of that. So then it's going to be an amazing day. So you already made it easier to handle whatever challenges come your way. When a person's in a bad mood, it's like you see some people do the exercise, but it's like trying to run a marathon, but put 20-pound weights on your legs. So even if you're the fastest person on earth, but you put those 20 pounds or even 10 pounds on each leg, you're not going to come in the best anymore. So wake up and already, let's say, start by appreciating the very simple thing. You drove here without an incident. You went shopping. You had enough money to pay for your groceries. You drove home without an incident. Start, if you will, take weight off that you've been carrying up until this moment, so you can now run faster in life. You can achieve faster, actually, what we're going to get to today, what we want to achieve in this world. So, welcome for all of you who've joined us since I started with that. We're going to do our affirmation. Yes, for those of you here, it's here. For those of you online, we've got to keep reminding ourselves. 38 years in the center, it's a constant effort to remind ourselves consciousness is everything. To remind ourselves why we're here and the power, which is what we're going to speak about today, the power we have to do that. So let's say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness to all human beings. All. So let's start like this. Some of you've heard this thing, that human beings are the microcosm of the macrocosm. The issue is, like we just said, consciousness is everything. So depending on the consciousness we have determines how much good we're going to achieve by transforming all of our chaos to order. In other words, if we understand we've been given everything, right? And we talked about it in every class probably here, every class in the Kabbalah Center, the light is infinite. So the light is here. The only thing is missing is our putting the blockages, or let's call it the chaos, back into order. In other words, it's like my mother, she's not resting, she's 40-something walking around the world now, but my mother used to play Scrabble with her friends. So of course, when you open the box and you take out all the little squares with the letters in it, you don't open it and have all the words set out, and now you're just going to put like the words, on the board. You take all the letters, whatever, there are hundreds of them, and they're all scrambled up. The fun of the game was to be able to take all those letters and build them into words and then interconnect them with whatever the other people put on the table, right? So it's a challenge to turn chaos to order, but you didn't look at it as chaos. It's a challenge. This is how it goes. You scrambled up the things like you shuffled the deck, right? Wouldn't it be nice if you went to Atlantic City and all the cards were in perfect order, that every time they dealt to you, you got an ace and a 10. 21 every time. It'd be great. But let's be real. After a certain point, it'd be pretty boring. Because the challenge is, even in that, figuring out, trying to count cards or whatever you call it. Look, did they take this? Do I have to figure this? Right? If there's no challenge in life, what fun is it? What fun is it? And I know, like I shared with the group here, I had a little bit of challenge this morning. So of course, the first thought, the very flash of the first thought is, this is not fun. Then I had to pause. I say, Chaim, what are you teaching today? You're going to teach them how to turn chaos back into order. So you just gave your soul brought you an opportunity, not just to teach it out of your head, but in this moment today, in the hour before we start, how to actually put it into use so that even among all the effort I've made to grow and transform in these last few years, but I can always have another awakening, make it more real that I have what to share with you. Okay, so what does it mean to be the microcosm of the macrocosm? It literally means, we say it in different ways. The Bible tells us, every spirituality says, we are a piece of the Creator. So if you just start with that, means we are mini creators. On the macro level, there is this infinite, even Kabbalistically, we don't have really a name for it. The closest that I look at it is the emanator of light. Because everything basically starts in a way that we can grasp it in this world, from this world's point of view, with the infinite light of the Creator. So the emanator of the light, okay, its very nature, if light itself shares 24/7, if the nature of light physically and spiritually is to remove darkness and reveal what has always been sitting there. You walk in your living room at night and it's dark and you turn on the light. The light does not create the couch, does not create the television, does not create that. It just reveals what was sitting there the whole time, but in the dark you didn't see it. Your brain says, oh, I know it's there because this is my house, so I know there's a television over here, a couch over here, this over here. Well, now we've got to go on a spiritual level. We've got to understand that we know in the same way when we see darkness and therefore feel chaos, confusion, any kind of negativity, it's because we are not seeing the harmony and order and the infinite light that's waiting for us once you activate the light from your point of view and take away that cover of darkness, just like in your house. But all the answers, all the blessing already given. And so this is what I wanted to emphasize. Yes, in the big picture, the macro creator created one soul. And I know I keep emphasizing that, but it's hard. You look at the world. When you're driving down the street, do you really perceive that all the drivers around you are just like wired extensions from you? No, they're driving over there because, of course, if they do something I don't like, oh, that's not me. I never do something that the driver behind me doesn't like, do I? Yeah, that's true. Until I catch myself. Even that, every now and then I'll look at somebody, why don't you turn your signal on? right? Let somebody know. And then every once in a while I'll catch myself because I'm assuming, okay, I'm driving up to my driveway, so I don't put a signal. There's no cars around, and suddenly somebody's pulling out of the community like I would do and looking towards me coming from that direction, and I don't have my signal on. When I do that same thing from their point of view, I'm looking and say, well, turn your signal on. Then I know I can go because I know you're turning into this driveway, right? I had my reason, so I have to now have compassion for that person that didn't. Instead of looking at that, why didn't you turn it on, right? Why annoy me for 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, a third of a second, right, to wait till you pull in so I can turn. I mean, really, what's 1 or 2 seconds in our life from that point of view? So I have to start boosting myself. Okay, you know what? They may be doing the same thing as me. They didn't see me. Nobody was around, so they didn't turn their signal on, right? Why wear out the car for that half a second? You follow? Because nobody was there. And then they show up out of nowhere. Also shows us how fast does life change. I have a student, and I know she may be watching, but in a split of a second, she's driving down the street, somebody loses control of their car. That'll take a second. So we've got to learn how to start appreciating second by second. We drove here without an accident, without an incident. We got home. We ate. How many ate something yesterday? Any of you ate food yesterday?
2 people.
2 people. The rest went on a diet. They're on a starvation diet. Okay, you ate. Even that, and I've never thought of it this way, honestly, till you guys gave me the inspiration. You finish eating. Yes, I can appreciate the food and this, but until today, I didn't really have conscious appreciation that I ate my meal without choking. I mean, tell me that's not something that probably happens to a lot of people. You got 8.5 billion people on the planet. Somebody ate today and choked at least a little bit. They may not have choked to death, but choked on a piece of food. Out of 8.5 billion, there's got to be quite a number that probably did one meal during the day. No, I didn't. Did I appreciate it? No, I went on with the rest of whatever I was doing. And so this is a very powerful, that's founder of the center. Rav Ashlag says appreciation is the vessel for our next blessing. Meaning, what's appreciation? More value. If you bought a house for $100,000, you wanted to appreciate it. What does that mean? You want the same house, in the same place, looking the same, now in somebody's eyes, be worth $120,000. Meaning, you'll get $20,000 more. So your appreciation, you understand, became a vessel or container for that extra $20,000. Because in somebody's eyes, their vessel was now 120 instead of 100. You follow? So you gain because they saw more value. So you wake up and you realize, yeah, I ate my meal without choking. You just opened your vessel to allow more of what you already have to be revealed. Because the only thing missing is what we call the vessel. Create a space for. So in our mind, because we're creating, right? The Creator created one soul, 8.5 billion pieces, like our bodies. And don't tell me we have trillions, but for today's example, we have 8.5 billion cells in our body. So that one soul and that one being came out of the endless world had 8.5 billion cells that now look like 8.5 billion people. But it's all from one being. It's all on one spiritual internet. So the Creator created the one vessel, soul, and then filled us with light. And that's where we've got to start. We're already filled with light, which means then you cannot look outside at anybody or any situation in the world and say, they're making me unhappy. And we have a lot that the illusion and the opponent in our head will make us feel unhappy. Look at all the chaos in the world. Look at the people suffering. Look at the fighting. Look at the economy. Look at this. Look at that. We got a zillion things to look at. And if we listen to the voice of our opponent, oh my God, so terrible, awful. I feel bad about it. It's chaotic. What am I going to do? How am I going to survive? What about me, myself, and I? No, pause for a moment and remember, like we're saying today, the Creator made us micro creators. In a micro level, we are creating. We have the power of the Creator inside of us, which means we are creating 24/7. We just don't realize it. But we're either creating in 2 ways. So, okay. When I was in 6th grade, and somebody's going to harangue me for going back to my 6th grade. But when I was in 6th grade, I went to Mexico on a Baja California, okay? For those of you that may be purists. But I went to Baja California, Ensenada. I went as an exchange student. So one of the things we did was, and this is a long time ago, so there was only the manual pottery wheels. So they gave us a lump of clay, put it on a pottery wheel, showed us how to, make it spin with your foot, and then you're going to form something out of the clay by doing what? Your hands. Now, do you have hands? Do you all have 2 hands? I have 2 hands. A good potter also has 2 hands. So what's the difference between what they could create and what I could create? It's not the hands, not the clay, it's already there. The thing is, I didn't have the skill or the talent to use my hands the way a good potter does. So they make a nice vase, they make whatever it is, a sculpture, this, that, the other thing. Me, I make a lump of clay just squished in little parts. You understand the idea? Consciousness, but we are constantly creating. So whether my hands are on that lump of clay or the other guy, the good potter has his hands on them, we're both creating. But we're either creating a mess, me, or creating something that people would want to buy, him or her. So it's the same thing in life. We are creating 24/7. And this is why consciousness is so essential, because we have 2 voices in our head that are directing the way we create. They're not creating for us. They're giving us direction on how we can create. So when you look at your life and you say, oh my God, life is a mess, the opponent is going to say, yes, they created a mess in your life. They didn't say what you wanted to hear. They didn't do what you wanted them to do. They didn't give you what you wanted them to give you. They didn't act the way you wanted them. So they're creating your mess. No, I want to make sure it's emphasized today, we are micro-creators in this world, meaning the creator does not create in this world. I wanted, as I was preparing this, I'm thinking there was a show years ago called Mythbusters, right? They did all kinds of physical experiments. They say, this is what people think, and then they'd show whether it was true or not. So unfortunately, the opponent for millennium, that parasite in our head that opposes our sharing, which is all we came here to do, put in our head, everything is up to God. Everything is up to God. Everything is up to God. No, it's probably the most powerful myth that the Kabbalah Center works 24/7, 365 days a year to break that myth in the minds of people. We are the creator of our lives. When it says in the code of the Bible, God gave us a piece of itself, that means we create. We create. And how do you know? Even simple. Stick to even the first couple chapters of the Bible, which we know is a code, which is another part of this. It says, there was one being, then split into Adam and Eve, and then, if it was really up to God, and God didn't want us to eat from the tree of knowledge, good and evil, why leave it in the garden at all? Right? People are wrestling around in your living room, like my older brothers used to do. My mom used to move some of the delicate stuff away from the wrestlers, because even inadvertently they'll hit the table, knock it over, and there's costly damage. So if the creator in that same metaphor didn't want us to eat from the tree of knowledge, take it out of the garden, and then we have no choice. We can only eat from the tree of life. But that's not the point. The point is understanding the code of the Bible. Why are there 2 trees? Because we have to have free will and then have to suffer or enjoy the consequence of our action. So by eating of the tree of knowledge, good and evil, we created chaos. That's what knowledge, good and evil means. The tree of life means you only see the light. So even when something looked like chaos, it was just out of order. You put it back in order, right? It's not chaos. It's not going to stay there forever. It means we took the Scrabble pieces, we threw it out on the table, they were in chaos, right? Disarray, disorder, and our job is to put them back in order to spell words. Our job is to put this world back in order. So once we chose the tree of knowledge, good and evil, think, what does good and evil mean? oh, look at those are bad people, those are good people. There's chaos in the world. No, there's only good people because everybody is a pure and perfect being of light. It's just making the wrong choices and then continuing to make the wrong choices, we get in the habit of choosing the instant gratification, reactive behavior. You and I are learning how to overcome that instant gratification for long-term fulfillment. And it's not easy. Not because it's not easy, but because we've so trained ourselves so many times to do the reactive thing that now it's not easy to stop the reactive behavior. That's our momentum, right? If you're running if you were running 100 miles an hour, it's not easy to stop on a dime, is it? They're all looking at me like, who runs 100 miles an hour, Chaim? Okay, you run even whatever you run. If you're running, right, not easy to stop. It takes a lot of effort to stop. You can slow down, step by step by step. Okay, but once you got that momentum going, easier to stay with the momentum. So if we got reactivity going on over and over and over again, the opponent just puts it on our head, but makes it look different. So anger comes out on the street because of the cars and the drivers. Then you go to the store. The anger comes out because your item just sold out. You go shopping, and now your anger shows up at the other shoppers. So it looks like it's a different kind of anger, but hello, who's the angry person? Me, myself, and I. So everywhere I go, it's the same anger. It's just my opponent says, oh no, now you're only angry because of what they did over there on the street. And then you're angry because what they did at the store. And then you're angry what they did at work. And then you're angry what, whatever family and friends said or did. So we don't see the common factor. We don't see that it's about me because I'm the only common factor in my life, but I'm the creator. So even that, I created, and we have to accept that. And I'm sorry, you can contact me, contact your Kabbalah teacher, ask about it. But we have to come to the understanding if we want any way, shape, or form to control our destiny and change it, we have to accept everything, no matter how traumatic it happened. Somehow we created it. Now, I want to make sure, though, that doesn't excuse the person who did the thing. Never, ever, ever. Everybody has their free will. Nobody can say, well, it was their karma, their tikkun to have something stolen. The Rav used to use a story, that a thief comes into the court, the courtroom, of course has a Kabbalistic judge, comes in and looks at the plaintiff, and the plaintiff says, well, this guy stole $1,000 from me. And the thief looks at the judge and says, Judge, but you know the rules of the universe. Right? In the last life, this person stole that $1,000 from somebody else. So the thief looks at the judge and says, he was just taking it back. And the judge, the Rav would say, because he was a Kabbalist, looked at him, he says, you may be right that the $1,000 had to disappear from that person because they stole it in the past life, but you didn't have to be the thief. It was your choice to be the thief. So therefore, you're responsible. So those people who did minor or major things to us, we have to still realize somehow my soul, looking actually for my ultimate good, brought me into a situation like that. So I, as a creator, could now consciously recreate from the mess to order, from darkness to light. That's the bit. You don't think, if you look back at your traditional idea of God, why do we blame God even that way? Why does humanity blame God for not stopping all the chaos? Because we believe, even in simple terms, that the Creator has the power to turn any form of chaos, whether it's bad health, fighting, hatred, war, all that stuff, get rid of it in a second. Well, if we've been given a piece of the Creator and we are micro-creators in this world, then we also have in a blink of an eye the ability to get rid of all our chaos. But it's not going to happen if we don't switch that switch in our head from reactive to proactive, from listening to the opponent, that false parasite versus our soul. The more we make the switch to listen to our soul, then the more we'll be creating harmony and order out of the worst situation ever in our life. I mean, how many stories do we hear about people, who are caught, arrested, put in jail for thievery, and then they become security experts, right, when they get out? Things like that. Cyber people, now it's all cyber, right? Cyber thieves who get caught and then they get out and now they're working to protect people from it. Is it not the same skill? It's the same skill to hack into somebody's computer to steal from them as to show them how to prevent being hacked. Is it not same skill? Like my hands. I have the same hands the potter had. It's just he knew how to use it in a way I didn't. So whatever skills and talents we've used to make our chaos, we also have all the power and capability, even more powerfully in truth, to put it all back in order and 1,000 times better we could ever imagine. Because we are mini creators. We've been given the power to create our life. And every thought, word, and action is creating. Yes, like all things, it doesn't happen instantly, but eventually it shows up. Even now, I saw somebody sent me a link. They have like, what do you call it? Like 3D printed houses now. They have a machine that's being developed that they've already done tests and it's built houses already, that it just, one of these 3D printer type things, but it's now on a house level. So it pours out some kind of cement and it's all computer programmed, huge machine, and it just starts building all the outlines of the house, right? The walls, the foundation, everything, obviously, you fill in the inside, but it's building in essence the whole house, I don't know, in a day versus how long it takes, in the traditional way, months and months and sometimes years to build a house. So the process is getting quicker, which should be for you and me, students of the Kabbalah Center, that time, space, and motion is disappearing, and that spiritual capability that we've always had, we just didn't believe we had, is showing up even physically. 20 years ago, which one of you or me would have believed that we could build a house, let's say, even in a day? No, you got to do this, you got to prepare the ground, blah, 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 all the different things. We'd never believe it. Today, it's a fact. How many of you would believe you could talk to something like this, and it could look things up for you, it could call your friends, this and this? No, Star Trek in the 60s, computer, calculate this, that, or the other thing. We say, science fiction. No such thing. Today, you got whatever name it is, right, on your phone, because I don't know what they're going to censor here, but whatever name. Hi, okay. Hi, Richard. That's the name of my phone. Do this and this and this. Of course, the Richard that I know would say, why? What do you want that for? Exactly. Okay. You say, but science fiction has become science fact. The Rav always said it's showing us how quickly science is catching up with Kabbalah. So from my point of view, we should be running faster to stay that much more ahead. Yes, valuing that science is proving all the Kabbalistic wisdom that we thought was crazy. This is why, people used to hear 1,000 years ago, and they still, unfortunately, still hear it. Oh, Kabbalah will drive you crazy. You learn too much Kabbalah. It's dangerous, can drive you crazy, and things like that. Why? Because back then, if you talked about space travel, you talked about quantum physics, they'd say, cuckoo people. Something that you can't see with your eyes, cuckoo, right? But we know protons, neutrons, electrons, right? Every cell, you do like this. You're sloughing off thousands or tens of thousands of cells of your body. Microscopic. Do you see it? No. Here, let me share. They're all going like this. Ooh, let me stand back a little bit. But you understand? Things like that. So today we accept it. That's where they say Kabbalah drives you crazy. For me, the craziest thing that we teach is the most powerful thing. Embrace your challenges, because you know how to turn garbage to gold. You know how to turn chaos to order. You know how to turn curses to blessings. So you ask most people out there, would you embrace your curse? No, they want to run away from challenges and curses. Here, let me embrace them, because I have the consciousness, I have the wisdom, I have the methodology how to turn it into blessings. So throw more at me. Right, like I often say, if you had the philosopher's stone that turned lead to gold, would you be looking in your house for your gold rings, or you'd be looking for everything made of lead? Lead, because gold is already gold. You want to turn the lead into gold, so you're looking for the gold. So if we have the Kabbalistic philosopher's methodology to turn chaos to order and darkness to light and curses to blessing, what should you be looking for? Should be looking for the chaos, the curses, the darkness, the challenges, because you have the way to transform it. Yes, before we came to the center, you and I probably also the same thing. Of course we want to run away, not because we want to run away really, but we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to make it bless us. So the only thing we could figure is how to have some form of a blessing. Run away from it. Run away from the bad people. Run away from the people who don't like us. Run away from the people who try and make fun of us. Whatever. Run away from the challenges. Not because we were incapable, we didn't realize we are the infinite power of the Creator inside of us to just transform it. So the only thing we do to get a little relief, run away. Now you come to the center. No, embrace it, go after it, because we can turn it all. So here, even in the Bible, and I want to remind you, the Kabbalists, especially if you're new, the Kabbalists, we believe, and again, we ever ask, one is just don't believe, because blind belief means you won't apply it because you kind of believe it's out there. Like people say, oh, they believe in God. Like God is over there in the corner somewhere. I believe there's a God. But in a daily basis, are they really acting like God? Are they really understanding the power? No, but they believe it's there. So the Rav and Karen used to call it uncertainty. Belief is uncertainty. Let me ask you like this. I did this with a couple teenagers over the weekend. Everyone can see this? If I let go of this, it's not what it is, okay. If I let go of this, do you believe it will fall, or do you have absolute certainty it will fall because of the law of gravity? I wish I could show you. Woo, levitate like this. You go, what happened? Of course, you have certainty. You don't have belief. So the same thing, the Kabbalists and the center is teaching us how to have certainty in the immutable spiritual laws of the universe in the same way. But if you just believe, means you won't use it. So don't just believe, but don't just dismiss it. So the Bible, we believe, did take place. There was an Adam and Eve, there was Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Rebecca, and all of them. They did all those things, etc. But what they're really teaching us, if you study through the center, through the Zohar, what's the code? It's like a good code. It shows something on the outside, like those people did exist and they did what they did. If somebody who had never seen a cell phone, oh, my fancy, okay, anyway, right? If they see you do like this, right? Like you and I are used to it, so you figure if someone's doing this, they're making a phone call, right? They're pushing the buttons. But if it's shut off, if I shut it off, here, like this, so we'll pretend, right, the cover, and I'm doing like this, you say, oh, Chaim's calling somebody. But if I don't have it turned on, I look like I'm doing, but I'm not doing it. Why? Because I'm not pushing the buttons on the cell phone. So the Bible is a code. What we want to learn is what buttons, what spiritual immutable laws were they using that we can learn from to have the same kind of results. How to be protected from chaos, how to have abundance and prosperity, how to be free from all our chaos, negativities, compulsions, addictions, and obsessions, things like that. We want to know the technology. But the code is also code. There's something there. So, the code of the Bible, which one? Oh, yes. So the code of the Bible, right? Like we said, there was one being split and then 8 billion of us. But in the creation, in the original text, it says, Na'aseh Adam, let us make man. It's in plural. Now, unfortunately, over the years, people have come up with all kinds of different understanding. Well, maybe there are many gods, right? Let us. So there's a whole group of gods out there that all got together like a committee and tried to decide how to make a human being. But you and I know what we say about committees. You try and get a committee of 3 people to agree on anything, you'll be waiting for a long time unless you bribe each other. You know, things like that. You get the idea? No. So what it says, go back to the idea that we are creators. So if we are the creator of this universe, even in its simple idea, if we're creating this universe, collectively, it was one of us, then in essence we have to have a relationship with, a sort of spiritual connected energy with the plants and the animals and the minerals. Right? You go to an architect, you say, look, I want to design a house. You already have to have in your mind somehow a connection to the shape of the house, where it's going to be, what it's going to look like inside, how many bedrooms, things like that. So you've already embodied, let's call it, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house with a 2-car garage in the middle of Boca Raton, somewhere, you understand? You already have part of it within you. So when the Kabbalists teach us what the Zohar says, when it says, Na'aseh Adam, let us, it's saying, no, remember, if we're going to have control, positively or negatively, over all the other aspects of this world, right, to create our lives, so we have to have some ultimate control. Even the Bible at the end of the story says, let's create man who will have dominion over the world. What does dominion mean? We control. We control the inanimate, we control the plants, we control the animals. So that means we have to have a part of it. So that's what it says, let us make man. Like within us, so to speak, is the energy of everything. You look at an animal, you have a connection to that animal because you're the creator of that animal. You look at the earth, you're a creator of that earth. You look at whatever plants, you're the creator of them. I know some people going, yes, I love to garden. Okay, never mind. You know, so that's it. But like we said, like with the potter's wheel, look at the mess we made of it. People took the idea of we're human beings, we have free will and the ability of having dominion over the world. We took dominion in such a selfish, self-centered way that we just created chaos. Now here's something again, don't believe, if you don't believe it now, all I ask you to do is don't dismiss it, at least be open-minded. Because if we can't come to understand the cause of the chaos and the disorder, we'll never ever be able to fix it and put it back in order without enough pain and suffering to wake us up. We have to come to that, and I'm sorry to keep saying that here and there, but we have to realize, look at your life. We want to run away from pain. We want to run towards pleasure. Sort of our inherent nature, no? I don't think any of us would like to run into pain and suffering. So we want to run away and towards pleasure. So if we came here to imitate the Creator, to take our micro-creative ability and create heaven on earth as the Creator metaphorically created heaven in the upper worlds, then there's a deadline to make that happen. And the more people wait and aren't doing it, there's got to be, like we see now, the pain and suffering of the world is worse now than ever in history. No matter what people will try and tell you. It's worse because there's 8.5 billion people. Never been 8.5 billion people on the earth before. And all those people adding either chaos or harmony and order. So it's like that. So the Zohar says very simply, I wish I'd brought the verse. It says, when people do negative things, now there's nature. Think, when we were creating nature as that first being, that first united creator, we created with perfect harmony. You plant an apple seed, you get an apple tree with apple fruit, right? Everything's harmonious, right? Nature should work harmonious, the earth should work harmonious, everything like that. So the Zohar says, nature by itself will work harmoniously. Everything takes care of itself, it's in perfect balance, all of that. But it says the negative actions of humanity causes nature to act unnaturally. And this is why for me, okay, I cannot stand in a proactive way the words natural disaster. Because it means then it's just part of nature, we can't do anything about it. But the Zohar says, no, fires, floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, all that is unnatural. And it's created by the 8.5 billion micro-creators that are acting with a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of anger, a little bit of fear, a little bit of guilt. All that adds up. How many of you would like to have a penny? You know, I mean, okay, we've learned in the center, but most people, they see a penny on the ground, they pass by it. That's why you and I can find pennies, because other people walked by it and didn't pick it up, right? So we know to pick it up. Okay, but you know, most people think it's only a penny, only a penny. But wouldn't you like to have only a penny from every human being on earth? It's only a penny. Yes, but 8.5 billion pennies is $85 million. So if I said to you, would you like to have $85 million? How many go, who cares, right? I got more in my pocket. You say, whoa, that's a lot. So if you think of it in those terms, 8.5 billion people with just a penny of fear, anger, judgment, jealousy, greed, insecurity, creating fires, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, all of that. Unnatural disasters, which means then we can bring it back to its original nature. If chaos were permanent, then there's nothing we could do about it to put it back in order. But we know chaos is just disarray, means it was ordered. Now we lost the order, we mixed it up, now we got to put it back in order. The same thing with health. You think the Creator, when we dropped out of the endless world, we came in this world sick? Any kind of ailment? No. Our true nature, even to this day, our true nature is health and vitality. So what's healing? Sickness is unnatural. That's why Karen used to emphasize dis-ease. Ease, harmony is part of the light nature. Unharmonious, ill at ease is unlike that. So dis-ease, it's unnatural. So we've got to start thinking healing back to our original health and vitality is natural. It's the way it's supposed to be. But because we're creators and we've allowed that opponent for millennium to make us believe, oh no, illness is illness and that's it. That's why it's it. And yet look along the way, how much did we really believe illness is illness? We created doctors, healers of all types. To do what? Put us back into order. Well, if you really believed illness was just part of nature, why bother? Why bother? Because we know on a soul level, harmony, joy, peace, unity, that is our true nature. That's who we really are. So we're here waking up today to realize we have the ability of creating whatever we want to create. Now, that doesn't mean manipulate, right? So you look out and say, oh, Chaim said we're a creator, so I want to create $20 million in my bank account today. Now, technically, I don't know if I should go there, it might confuse you, but the Rav used to talk about in the early morning classes that if we really, because again, do we create? We create with the weight of our consciousness. So how many of us really, truly, with our full energy believe that if we said, I have $20 million in my bank account, and you went right to the bank now to check at the ATM, you could find 20 million. We would like it, but we don't have the power of creation in that way yet. But the Rav would say, yes, if we really had absolute certainty in our ability to create, then yes, we could put $20 million there. The Rav used to use it on the table. It says right here on the table, show an empty table, right here, $20 million. So why can't you grab it? Because you don't believe, and therefore the strength of your creation is it's not there. You follow? Sickness is going to stay because look at what's been happening for thousands of years. People get sick and die, so it must be that way. You follow? That's why I didn't like when my children, as they were growing up, came fashionable to use the word sick as meaning something good. Oh, that's really sick. And I kept reminding them, no, the weight of consciousness, the weight of our creative abilities and use, sick is sickness. It's a bad thing. Don't think after even 20 years you can just go in one say, oh yeah, sick means good, right? It's not going to work that way. The heaviness, the balance of your power of creation is still going to be sick is sick, right? But that's how the opponent, let's start using that. So they're throwing the words out. More energy of sickness in the world. Hello, look. So also the Rav, you remember, some of us are been around this lifetime long enough to remember before things that they've called airborne disease. When I grew up, there was no such thing. Nobody talked about airborne disease. So when it suddenly became fashionable and, on the front for people to say, oh, airborne disease, new airborne disease, the Rav said, no. What's airborne disease? People who speak bad about each other. People who speak gossip, hate speech. Isn't that airborne disease? Speaking, you're using air, they're using a piece of their soul's power manifest through air that manifests as hateful words, and they're putting it out in the cosmos. Well, the physical manifestation is airborne disease. So don't look to, germs and this and this. And again, I'm not telling you not to use doctors or whatever like that, but if we really want to get rid of it, stop speaking gossip, stop speaking hate speech, stop speaking bad about people. No, we got to look. Remember, it's my tikkun. It's there for me. They're showing me my disorder so I can put it in order. They're showing me where I've cursed myself that I can now turn it into a blessing. That's what I'm seeing. That's what we've got to learn to see, because we have the ability to create. So anything we want to create, we've got to have something to create with. So let's say we're all at 70% of our potential. 70% of our 100% is already revealed. So we're 70% happy, prosperous, joyous, loving, kind, all of that. The 30% is hiding in the, where I have anything but that. A little fear, anger, jealousy, ego, insecurity, guilt, shame, greed, whatever it is. That's where it's hiding. So wake up today and say, no, I have the power. I am a creator. So now you want to go look for the resources. What's out of order, where a person has lack, go fill it with fullness, because we have that power. Take away the illusion of lack. How do you take away the illusion of, let's say, people look and they say they wish they had a great relationship. They wish they had somebody who would love them. It's an illusion that the person isn't here. But what's hiding that person is the fact that the person believes that they don't have it. So how do you take it away? Starting with Kabbalah 1. You want more love in your life? Start planting seeds of love. Be more loving to everybody. Like we say in our affirmation, right? Greater love, compassion, and kindness. Greater. So you don't feel enough love in your life? Yeah, you've got friends and family who love you, but you're looking for love in that way. So be more loving. That's how you pull away the curtain and find that person. You want more prosperity? Start giving more, at least tithing. Why does the Bible give us the idea of tithing and charity and all of that? You got to plant seeds. You want money? Yeah, money does grow on a money tree. You don't see the tree, but when you give your tithing, when you give your donation, you're giving away money. That's when it can grow and multiply. What would happen if you wanted to eat orange, but the original orange farmer had the seed in his hand? So I don't want to give away this one seed. I don't want to give it away. It's the only one I got. If he doesn't plant it in the ground, he's not going to have dozens of fruit when the tree grows and blossoms. So the same thing. You want to grow your love, start planting more seeds of love. And that doesn't mean loving like romantic love. You drive down the street, just send love to every driver that's around you. Just send love to every person on earth, period. That's it. Send the energy of prosperity. Meditate and beam the light of prosperity for everybody on earth. You're uncovering the 30% of your prosperity that's already yours, but you haven't been able to claim because it's hiding behind your sense of lack or greed or fear, whatever it may be. That's how we do it. You just uncover it and it's there. But you've got to be the creator. You've got to stop listening to that voice in your head. So may we all just come to that idea. All we're teaching, and because it's the day of unity, right? Some of you who came early, we have people all around the world going out today in unity to hand out Zohar. Because the Zohar is simply the infinite light of the Creator. It's funny, Why is it we can believe that something like this, it's just a bunch of plastic and wires and stuff like that, yes? But why do we believe something like this, that's not connected to anything, I can call people all around the world? Think about it. If you took this back 100 years and you said, yeah, with this thing, I can call people all over the world. Now you would understand why. Cuckoo Kabbalah, right? So why is it that that's any different than saying this book, because it's in the original DNA of our soul in the universe called the Aramaic letters in various combinations, why is this cannot be connected to the heart and soul of every human being on earth and to the infinite light of the endless world? Why? Why is one more powerful than the other? Because of our illusion. Because remember, wherever you're going to make the effort to take your light back from the opponent's going to fight harder. So if the Zohar is the only thing in this universe that can bring us peace, harmony, love, and heaven on earth before the deadline, then the opponent in your head, my head, and everybody's head is going to say, oh, no. It's a book. Can't do anything. Yeah, and this is just a piece of paper. And when you look at crystals, they're just a piece of rock. And you look at uranium, right? The atomic bomb, uranium, all of that stuff, radioactivity stuff, just dirt. But that dirt can cause people to die, right? Uranium, radioactive stuff, but just dirt. No. let's start realizing this is the most powerful instrument of the light. And once you turn on the light, think about it. In the old days, now I don't know what to say with LED and stuff like that, but you remember the old incandescent light bulbs? When you first buy them, you see all the wires inside. Once you turn on the light, right, you activate it, you can't see the wires anymore because the light overwhelms and unites. So the point of the Zohar, because we are only one soul and we all work on the same operating system of the light of the Creator, you spread enough Zohar, the light that's revealed by that book being manifest by people having it in their hand, in their pocket, in their purse, in their homes, like that, that light revealed unites everybody in the light of love, kindness, and compassion. Takes away the illusion that there's pain, suffering, and death in the world, takes away the angel of death that we created by choosing the tree of knowledge, good and evil, takes away the chaos that we've created by looking at people and saying, no, they're men, women, black, white, yellow, Jew, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist. I had a very interesting experience, and we'll finish with this, and then we'll do our meditation on one of the 72 names. I was walking, somebody told me I should try and walk as many days as possible. So I think it was Thursday, I'm walking, and it's nothing we don't know, but all of a sudden it caught my consciousness. As I'm walking and I see my shadow on the ground, you ever seen your shadow on the ground? I realized the shadow, which in a simple way is a representation of me, of you when you're walking on the street, it doesn't show men, women, black, white, yellow, brown, Jew, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist. The shadow just shows a human being. You understand the idea? That's what we've got to understand. Everybody is a human being with a piece of the Creator in them, and they are constantly creating. So you and me in our level, and those people out there that are spewing hatred and violence and this, we're on the same operating system. We're all operating the same. We all come from the one Creator. It's only a question of how we have not created enough love, kindness, and compassion in our world. You look out, you have your unique set of 8.5 billion people. If you're sending light to the heart and soul of them, then they're all more and more harmonious towards you. If more of us, that's what's called the collective or the critical mass, when enough of us are sending enough light to 8.5 billion parts of us, that will be the end of the darkness. Everybody, once the light turns on, everyone will see cause and effect. The only reason we can be reactive, we don't see cause and effect. So when there's enough Zohar, literally just the books, because they shine the infinite light of the Creator. That's why you've got thousands of people going out today in all the centers around the world to hand them out, because they've come through their own experience to understand. It just shines light. And the more light, the more protection. So when there's enough light in the world and everybody can see cause and effect, you think the thief will steal when the thief knows in his own eyes or her own eyes they lose $10 for every dollar they steal? They're not going to do that. Every violent person, when they can see in their own eyes, when they hit one person, they get hit 10 times over. You think they're going to hit anybody? No, right now they think they hit somebody and the person runs away and they won. They don't realize then when they get hit 10 other times, it's because they hit the one person. When the light makes the darkness go away, everybody will see cause and effect. And you know what will happen? Immediately, everyone's going to run after all the people they hurt in their life. I'm so sorry. What can I do to make up for it? I'm so sorry. How can I make up? Everybody will run to apologize to everybody else. That's heaven on earth. That's in our hands. That's within our capability. And it starts with each one of us. Don't look out there and go, oh my God, it'll never happen. That's the opponent. Just start today with you. Determine, commit yourself that you're going to act, we say it every Sunday, with greater love, kindness, and compassion. Scan your Zohar, send light out to the people, just pray in whatever form you pray, to wake up the light inside everybody on earth, the part that's not being shown yet, that's not shining out. And then you'll see, it's like when you see in the movies, and the clouds part, and then suddenly you'll see we've always been sitting in heaven on earth, but we've made it look like hell on earth. So may we unite ourselves, you, me, and all the people going around. And if you have a Zohar already, every time you scan, empower. Every one of the Zohars that's been given out over the 100 years of the center, hack into it as you're scanning and activate more because it's infinite light. So whoever's not receiving infinite light from it, our job is to make it wake up and shine brighter light, more powerful light, and speed up the process of removing pain, suffering, and death and revealing heaven on earth. Because I don't know about you, but the Kabbalists say, yes, there has to be at least 1,000 years of peace. But I would like to do it this year, so we have 1,216 years of peace instead of 1,000. God bless. Okay. So with your help, we'll be able to finish the job, and this is why we always take this time to bless the offering, right? Whatever you give, the key is just support. Support to your ability to help us spread the Zohar faster and faster. And that's why we'll take this time. For those of you online, I just put the link there so you can give. It is the day of unity of all days. You know, it's a good day to empower the thousands of people who are out handing out the Zohar, that we can print more. Somebody asked me last week, a newer person, the only thing holding us back, and this is very transparent, is all we have to do is print enough of these and spread them around the world. So the only thing holding us back is support. All right, couple $1 billion, we could print enough Zohar, spread it around, start to wake up people's consciousness. Like we said, take away the darkness. People start acting more with kindness, love, and compassion. The only thing holding us back. We have the technology. We just need the support to do that. So your support today, whatever you can give, is adding to that. And remember, every Zohar that's being given out, and for those of you here physically, you're welcome to take one. That's why we brought them. They're sponsored by students of the center. But this, I ask your commitment. If you already have one, take one, maybe even two, but your commitment is to give them away. Give them to people that you mention, I want to give you a book of blessing, this and this and this. If you don't have one, okay, one is for you. Take one to give away, right? But don't take one because you already have it. Take one because you want to give it away to somebody. And again, you can meet them on the street. If you realize 8.5 billion people are all part of you. I remember, wasn't that long ago, I was in the supermarket. And whatever it was, somebody looked at me and said, oh, can you help me with this, that, other thing? I just got the feeling. I said, well, can I offer you a gift from the center? And I just explained it quickly. It's a book, Shines the Light of God. That's it. We're just giving it away so people will shine more light, and more light, less darkness and pain, and you'll be more protected. And she had a big smile on her face all of a sudden. Yes, thank you. But you walk in the supermarket, do you really expect to find people like that? No, but we should be expecting that. Every human being is actually, their soul tuned to these things. All we have to do is in the right moment catch them. So you'd be surprised where I was waiting in line at a coffee shop in an airport. And all of a sudden, I just started a conversation with somebody standing behind me. It's a simple conversation because it was a little longer line. By the end of the story, I gave her two, one for her, one for her husband. She was so appreciative. But in the middle of the airport somewhere, I must say, I'm learning to expect those things. I look for them, right? Because like we're doing here, my goal is when I travel to anyone, keep them in my car, just hand them out, whoever's open to them. We're not here to twist people's arm, but whoever's open. So these are gifts from those who've donated, and some of you are donors, but let's do our meditation here. So for those of you here, hold your donation in your hands. Money is a vessel that will pour out of it whatever it is we put in. So we want to put in our love, our gratitude, appreciation, our blessing. And really, even with our love and gratitude, asking, as we're supporting the spread of the Zohar and this wisdom that will bring people to the understanding of their true creator nature, asking for your own guidance, asking to have the strength and the support to open up the walls of your heart that have held you back. Ask that those walls be broken down, that you expand your capacity to love people, human beings, because they're a part of you. Greater capacity to love people. And knowing by the spread of the Zohar and this wisdom We are activating that desire from the soul of every human being, speeding up the process of letting that desire and the actions that make that manifest, reaching their head, their consciousness, which will then bring them to the actions of greater love, kindness, and compassion. And together we say, Amen. And so for those of you right here, okay. So I think by now most of you, unless you're brand new, this is one of what's called the 72 names of God. And like we're saying, it doesn't mean there's 72 gods. It doesn't mean the Rav used to tease and say, well, maybe God is mafioso, goes by a lot of different names, like that. No, it's attributes. So this one is actually awakening world peace. World peace. Ein Shin Lamed. Because it's built upon the DNA of our soul, the way that the infinite light of the Creator manifests in 22 energy forces called the Hebrew letters, Ein Shin Lamed. So the combination just activates the power of our soul to bring peace to the world, unity to the world, peace and harmony. And so just let the shapes be engraved in your mind's eye, Ein Shin Lamed. We also want to hold the consciousness that we're channeling the light to all the people around the world who are going out today to hand out Zohars, to speed up the process of removing the darkness, bringing people closer, heart to heart, soul to soul, to remove all the pain, suffering, and death, and to reveal peace on earth and heaven on earth. Ein Shin Lamed. So sit comfortably in your chair, feet flat on the floor, hands in your lap. Taking a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through the mouth. Knowing that with each breath, you're bringing into you and through you the breath of life. And air is a manifestation of the light of the Creator. The breath of light and life. So circulating that light, allowing yourself to relax, to be more at peace, more at ease with who you are as a creator, creating as light. More at ease and certain with your ability of transmuting chaos to order, darkness to light, curses to blessings. Allow yourself to feel the embrace of this infinite light, the vibration of unconditional love. And let's visualize together above our heads the Ein Shin Lamed. Seeing a beam of light from the endless world shining down, channeling through Ein Shin Lamed. Feeling that vibration of unconditional love, peace and unity. And allowing it to enter through the top of your head, bringing with it clarity that we are all beings, pure and perfect beings of light. As it's reaching our brain, let it vibrate, shine its light to make clear which is the voice of your opponent, which is the voice of your soul. And let the Ain Shin Lamed bring in this light of completeness, complete peace, harmony, unity, oneness through all the rest of your being from head to toe. On an individual level, physically, allowing all the cells of your body to work in pure harmony, vitality, activating the light that's in every one of those cells of your body to also work in harmony, in unity, oneness. Engrave this greater sense that you're feeling now of peace and harmony in your mind, in your heart, that it stays with you and grows from here. And together we let a beam of light, this light of the Ain Shin Lamed, peace in the world, harmony among all people, send a beam out through the heart and soul of your family and friends, awakening in them also the next level up. Clarity, the unity of all humanity, the truth that they are the creators of their life, and the power and the guidance to guide them to bring their disorder into its original order of peace and harmony, ultimate fulfillment. And now let's shine it out from them to the heart and soul of every person, all humanity. That every person on earth has that very powerful spiritual awakening, the realization that everything in the world, as they see it, is created and maintained by them. That it's so clear that every person is now acting more godlike, light-like, with love, unity, peace, forgiveness, apology, compassion. That the entire world of humanity wakes up out of this hypnotic state of chaos and confusion that we've all been under, to the clarity, to the brightness of the infinite light. That from here forward, it's rebuilding, revealing, manifesting heaven on earth, peace, love, and unity. Through the realization we are truly one. And therefore doing everything we can, revealing all of our light and all of its abilities, and in perfect unity and harmony with all the rest of our one human beingness. That heaven on earth, the Garden of Eden, manifests to the vision of all people, bringing joy and fulfillment to all. Visualize this in your mind's eye. Unite with all of us doing this now, all of us in all the centers around the world whose truly heartfelt desire is peace and unity. That in this unity we accelerate the manifestation for all humanity. And see clearly, in creating peace in the world, each of us have our perfect peace, our perfect lives, and true lasting fulfillment. Taking one more deep breath to anchor it, record it, engrave it inside our heart and soul, and slowly exhale and open your eyes. Those of you here in person, thank you for joining us. Those of you online, thank you for being with us. You can go online. I think if you go to Kabbalah.com, there's also a way for you to take advantage of the Zohars that have been donated to be spread around the world, wherever you may be. Have an amazing week. Next week, I will not be here in person. I'm traveling out of town, but I will be back the next week. So there will be something online, so you can still go on the Facebook page, but we'll be back here physically in 2 weeks. Have a wonderful day. Great afternoon, all of you around the world. And remember, Thursday night, Friday is the new moon of Gemini. So if you're here in Boca, you can come. There's a 7 o'clock. There's an event here. But just know that the month of Gemini on Thursday night, Friday, you're planting the seeds literally for immortality. That's the power of the month of Gemini. Historically, we know that the revelation of Mount Sinai took place in the 6th day of Gemini. So that energy is still in the cosmos and we can take advantage of it. So the seeds we plant Thursday night, Friday will set us up for that. And remember, immortality in its way means our eyes are clearly open and seeing everything that we need to do, when we need to do, and how we need to do it. And like we said today, to see my ability of changing the chaos back to order. That's part of immortality, when the light is so bright that we don't even have to pass from one side of the veil to the other side of the veil. Okay, God bless.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.